Hello, my creepy people, and welcome to yet again another Creepypasta video. Today we are talking about Nathan Nobody. We usually don't have any, quotes. We didn't for Ben Drowned, at least, that I know of. Unless we didn't, I just don't remember. Anyways, we have a quote. We have two of them. So, we are two halves of one coin. No one can separate us. Drip, drip, drip. This sound haunts me, yet comforts me. There was no before reading knowledge on this one, so we're going to get to appearance. Hello, welcome in. Nathan has long black hair, fair skin, and green right and blue left colored eyes. He is tall in stature, standing at 6 foot. Due to lack of sleep, he developed bags under his eyes. He wears a white long-sleeve shirt, gray vest, gray sleeveless coat, black pants, and boots. He also wears black fingerless gloves and a mask that partially covers his face. He has obtained multiple scars throughout his life. The most noticeable one is the one on his forehead, while there's another present across his chest from a terrible struggle with a target. The third one is on his left shoulder, near the collarbone. This one isn't a target wound. Nathan would wear makeup if he feels like it. Most of the time he just sticks to nail polish. Personality. Before anything happened to him, he was sneaky, quiet teenager, and an introvert. He was quite protective of his family, specifically his twin sister. When he goes berserk, he becomes a pure sadist, tormenting and killing people in a very gruesome way. His mind is like a vinyl record and constantly repeats the message, "Save my sister and kill them all," when going berserk. At times, Nathan likes to play mind games. Leave me alone. With those, he stalks. After knowing their routes and habits, however, there are times he loses himself and acts on impulse rather than taking his time. Likes: stealth, pranking or toying with others, cats, his necklace, innuendos, rain, games, and other assorted things. Acting on his annoying little brother status. Calling Crystal little sister. Hugs but also no. Nighttime, horror genre, swimming, water, etc. Gothic aesthetics, and chocolates. Dislikes: broken trust, his mother suffering, busybodies, getting jealous, narcissists, being told to cut his hair, people with no sense of humor, animal abusers, child abusers, traffickers, being watched himself, acknowledging his sister's death, dolls that Uncanny Valley is too much sometimes to handle, being locked in a small tight room, and fire. Origin. Ish. Nathan Lux, or Nathan the Nobody, is a creepypasta character that appears in the story Nobody Saw It Coming. Nathan greatly suffered when his twin sister, Crystal, gruesomely died by the hands of the dark web / black market. He is also featured in his own origin story, Nathan the Nobody. So, funny thing about that, it's on DeviantArt as a comic, I would assume, and I can't get to it, so that's lovely. I tried to log in and everything and, show how old I was and blah, blah, blah. But, it wouldn't let me log in. So, that's fun. So we can't read the actual origin, sadly. But we can read his story that he appears in. So that's cool. Nathan grew up with his twin sister, Crystal, and his mother. His father left after the stresses the family. What? After the stress of the family would be the correct. I'm not going to correct this person. Anyways, not wanting to cause more harm by staying in the family home due to his father also suffering the same temperament issues as him, Nathan then took it upon himself to keep his mother and mostly his sister safe. One unfortunate day, him and his sister were abducted by a group who dealt with black market trades. Upon infuriating them, he was left to rot in a dark, cold cellar room. Trapped behind a metal door, his sister's well-being only in his mind, and the ever-growing anxiety between the two. His sister suffered great amount of torment from the group who were left to their own devices. Her rage turned into a gruesome death just moments before Nathan escaped his own imprisonment. Once realizing he failed his sister, his grip on the protective brother she needed fading away, and crashed into a hard delusion. Already hearing her voice whispering in his ear, or as far as we know it, unable to accept her death, he locked that part of her death away deep, deep in his mind, and continued to believe she is still alive, but only if he takes care of the group that made him suffer. That made them both suffer. He didn't stop at one in that house, aiming his anger at everyone he believes to be a part of the organization, enjoying the idea of watching those members die, only able to see them as those who harmed his sister. Interesting. Well, let's go to his story that he appears in. Nobody saw it coming. Dead leaves crunch underneath noises of crickets, joining into create a small melody for my walk back. The air, while cold, is yet dry tonight. No wind in the trees. The fenced neighborhood, dark, lonely, and quiet. Though that being due to the late hour, my feet carry me to the familiar home. My stuff is glitching. Hang on. Okay. The place I know inside and out like the back of my hand. What time is it? The thought sinks into my mind, eyes weighing heavily, specifically from the long day of working. All-important work that means life or death to me. Sleep means nothing to me. It just gets in the way. I go on until the point where I might collapse. I've never learned my own limit. Only at a few times I give heed to rest and find somewhere safe to sleep, wherever I am. A few hours always make do until the deadline ends. Then I can finally rest again. I slip past the side gate of the residence in front of me, careful to not push it past 3/4 of the way, or I'll make horrible racket. The last thing I want is noise, one huge noise that would awake any sleeping soul around. That would just be another nuisance. I don't need any more eyes on me. Well, not more than the eyes that had already been looming on me since the beginning, watching my every move, staring, stalking. I approach the backside with the feeling of still being watched. I'd rather use this door where no one can spot me, safer, less intruding people to catch me from here. Yet, with hesitation, I still have to... No, I need to look around and check the surrounding around me again. Withholding my breath, my eyes scanning the darkness for anything. That feeling still looming over me, crushing its weight on me. I turn my attention back to the door. New locks, a new code. No one can get into this place now without the knowledge of both. I took a deep breath, starting to fiddle with the lock. It jammed quickly on me. Great. A low growl slips past my lips, focusing more on this stubborn lock. A defect, but a welcoming challenge. My teeth grit, my growing focus distracting me. Between the paranoia of being watched, this damn stupid Locked? Lock. I'm sorry, I can't speak today. I could feel it growing, those eyes in such an intense stare. The image of a prey being cornered by its predator, just ready to attack and sink into the most vulnerable parts of me. Feeling my heart start to race, I push it all into one final rough shove. Not shortly after, I'm greeted by the heavenly click of it giving way to me. Yes. I slip inside quickly, shutting the door behind me, making sure to lock it back up before moving to the alarm system and placing it into the monotonous, long code I had learned by heart. I scan the dark room, then glance back to the door once more. I keep my gaze fixed onto the door, going through a deep string of thoughts. I stand there, my breathing being the only noise I heard. My mind goes from trivial things as the door locks, then to the situation, as the door lock, then to the situations leading up to the reason of getting those new locks on the door. Then, it came to me. All the sounds around the place. The shift of things either being placed into a new location or going missing completely. The sudden broken coffee mug in the middle of the floor. Those. That constant sound, I could hear it clearly, echoing. Was it all in my head? Drip, drip, drip. It was driving me nuts, waking to the sound, or coming back inside from a long day, always the same sound. Drip, drip, drip. Even thinking of it now makes my blood boil, my heart pound and fall down into my chest with an agonizing pain. I tried to shake myself free out of my trance, inhaling quickly. That stopped as soon as security was changed. I gave a nod to myself, my mind reaching the conclusion that, with a bit of grease, the lock will give way without the frustration. No need to even bother with turning on the lights. The basement couldn't be too hard to find. I followed my path down the stairs, letting the sounds of my exhausted steps echo loudly on the staircase. A few creak under my weight, always on the 6th and 10th step. The door moved without any impedance. The icy chill of the room hit me, following with a musty smell reaching my nostrils. I stopped, unable to recall where I left off, what I was looking for in here. I grumbled as I made my way around the room slowly, the solitary window giving the room a beautiful but unsettling glow from the moon. The light cast an odd and distorting shadows on the hard, rough stone walls. As I keep searching about, my frustration started growing over the amount of useless, annoying things gathering dust in this Sumerian basement. In the midst of it all, I caught a sound. The further into the end of the room I got, the clearer it became. That sound again. I froze in place, feeling my eyes widen, vision fading into a limited light. A limited field. What? How did I get light out of field? I'm not even going to question. As if in a hypnotic trance, I listened to the rhythmic sounds, the soft thud. 1, 2, 3, 4. I whisper under my breath, counting the second that passed by with each sound. I no longer really focus on my actions, making my way closer to the sound, as if an invisible force urges me to go there. My body moves in front of a leaking pipe, the water softly dripping at its weakest point. Clearly cracked open with rusting over time, I continued to stand there and just stare. With seconds passing, my mood switched from an unsettling calm to an aggravated state. My eyes gazed down on the leaking pipe with anger. A curse leaves my lips. There is enough at this moment to deal with. I haven't time for this stupid mess. I grab a tool hanging from my belt, lifting it high into the air, ready to fix this pipe. Then I heard it, a scuffling sound. I freeze in place, listening closely. The longer the silence fills the room, the louder the scuffle seems to get, and the more damning each drip of water feels. The noise as if it's going to alert the thing to this location. Drip, drip, drip. I held my breath. The rhythmic drips only seemed to get louder. I could hear the noise getting closer, moving above me. I believed to hear something fumbling outside in the yard. Maybe. But it was definitely coming up from above. There was a whisper, a hushed voice speaking out, nearly muted by the sounds within the building. I hear it click, twist, turn, and with that they opened the door upstairs. They got in. They're in my house now. My thoughts raced on the possible outcomes. Was this person here to steal? My thoughts twisted up in my head, my panic turning into anger. No, they were here to cause great harm, great pain. With the tool tightly in my hand, I moved down, moving quietly towards the door. I held my breath, listening to where this person could be located. I could feel my pulse beating against this tool, long, heavy, and metallic tool. The living room, there they were. I started to sneak up, avoiding the 10th step, then the 6th that had scared me, alerted earlier. I gripped the tool in my hand once more, adjusting my grip on it. At that moment, I knew I was about to do this person more harm than what they were thinking to do onto me. Help. My teeth grit together, breathing slowly to become barely audible, my back pressing softly onto the wall. I pondered quickly, guessing the possible forms of my attack. I heard them messing with something metallic, not a gun, possibly a weapon such as my own. A crowbar, a bat, doesn't matter. I needed to listen carefully and attack them before they can get to me at all. My knuckles ached with the pressure. So eagerly I wished to peek out to see exactly where they were, holding up to seize them, then take them down, but it was too risky. I could hear my heart pound faster, flooding my head. I waited with bated breath. A step here, a step there. The person's breath laboring, still unaware that I knew they were there. That sound of metal moving and ringing, their voice was silenced, their steps slowly walking towards me. I felt my eyes widen once again, the tool in death grip, ready to swing him with all my might. Tap, 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 then silence. I can hear them breathing, words whispering under their breath. This is definitely a man's voice. He is messing with something, speaking to himself. I was almost about to sprint into action, but no, I had to keep the upper hand. Tap, tap, tap. He drew closer and closer. A few more steps and I saw the blur of motion. I quickly swung, a sickening crunch following as my tool made contact. In the merest moment, I could see the shock in his tired, dull eyes, his greasy hair moving to the tool's groove. No control. I can't stop myself. One hit just isn't enough. I swung again and again. He hit the ground. I couldn't stop. I kept slamming the tool down in a frenzy, the same way someone kills a bug for disturbing. My eyes stared down at the scrawny man before me, the metal object under his hand shaking against the floor where it fell with him. His greasy dark hair slowly soaking in the liquid, his other hand pale now and bearing the scars of one's labors and reaching out for something. Welcome in his final moments. My breath heaved, logical and rationally returning back into my mind. Oh, well, thank you. I stepped away, the warmth of the liquid slowly cooling on me. I shook my head, made a quick beeline for the bathroom, and flicked on the light. My tool was set down, the rusting pipe echoing, a loud thud on my countertop, liquid dripping off the ends of the pipe. My cold reflection stared back at me in the mirror. The faucet was turned on quickly, going to work on washing the blood off me. Hands, my upper face, the dark cloth covering my mouth, doing its job and shielding the rest of my face from messy situations. I could smell the iron lingering around my nostrils, almost making me sick. I leaned down close to the sink, letting the whole situation sink in deep. My eyes moved up, removing the mess of my black hair out of my face. That black, unkept, greasy, long hair. I stare at my reflection for what feels like hours, the mix of dead eyes of green and ice-cold blue staring at the prominent scar upon my forehead, the one that bared a grim reminder and awful memories. I grasped a towel, wiping away the water and any remaining blood on my skin. Too bad my gray shirt held on to the stain a lot easier than the rest of my black clothing. Then I might be able to forget about it by now. Sighing, my fingers thoroughly brought out a trinket from my vest pocket, staring down the gem hiding safely within the fabric. This trinket always seemed to talk to me. It always did. Nathan. Over and over I heard it call out for me. Maybe it was just my mind playing a trick on me, but that undeniable whisper remained. I slipped back in to a deep, empty thoughts once more before I realized I had been staring at the gem this entire time, placing the purple gem trinket back into the safety of my pocket. I thought of the possibility of losing it. I would die to keep that trinket safe. I turned my heel from the mirror, moving back into the hall once more. The body caught my attention once more, the phone shaking more against the ground. I moved in close, staring at it without a single motion on my face. Without hesitation, I stomped down with my worn boot breaking into several pieces. Drip, drip, drip. The crimson liquid had already covered the tiles. Feeling no remorse about my actions, I no longer had the desire to stay put inside. After all, at this location, there would always be the feeling of us being watched by those around the neighborhood of bars. I chuckled, a smile tugging at my lips as I moved away from the mess I caused. Besides, this isn't my home. That's interesting. Credit is Ivy Banks. Okay, I see you. You know what? I see you. This isn't my home. That is crazy. Huh. Okay. Well, that was Nathan Nobody. Definitely what a story. Thank you guys for listening. Love you. Bye.